Welcome to the Sam Dean Podcast, where we talk about life, uncensored. Today on the show, I have my good friend Logan Misegades, the owner of Margot Hill in Athens, a wedding venue. He's joining me in the office today in Athens. Our show is sponsored by Dash Health and Wellness. Dash Health and Wellness is a company created by Alicia and Justin Munden. Alicia Munden and Justin Munden. And they are on Instagram and Facebook. And they specialize in weight loss. And they take on clients. So just send them a message. Alicia Munden, Justin Munden, Dash Health and Wellness. They have great success with their clients with weight loss and all the mental and physical, psychological stuff related to that. Our show is also sponsored by Van Zandt Coffee, the best freshly roasted coffee you can buy. And we roast it right here in Athens. Our show is also sponsored by Margot Hill, the best wedding venue I've ever seen. I've been out there. It's beautiful. And we're going to talk about it on the show. So without further ado, Logan Misegades, thanks for listening. Logan, what's up, man?
Not much, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we've been trying to get this thing going for a while now.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, man. 2021.
So far, so good?
I think so. I mean, besides the news, we won't get in. Is this a political? Are we going to do politics on this episode?
I'd rather not.
Yeah, forget that. Yeah.
I was going to say, well, the food challenge is making 2021 a healthy start, but a little rough.
You brought from one of my favorite places in Athens. Used to be Del Norte, but now it's El Toro 2.
Second location, yeah.
It's a Mexican meat market.
Mercado.
It's a mercado. But Logan brought me fajita beef, onions. This is all grilled. Avocados, a little rice. It wasn't fried rice though.
No. Little tomatoes.
Limes.
Mm-hmm.
And Topo Chico.
Grilled peppers.
For lunch, and it fit our nutrition challenge that we've got with CrossFit Van Zandt right now, where we can't have anything processed, we can't have anything but really meat, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, and a little bit of starch. Can't have any sugar, though.
No alcohol.
No alcohol, besides on Sundays. How are you doing so far on the challenge?
Honestly, pretty good. Obviously it's a challenge. That's why it's called the challenge. It's challenging on a daily basis because I've got 3 kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to try to cook something that, my wife wants to eat. Abby, the great and beautiful Abby, that she would like to eat. And also something that the kids will like. And so it's not uncommon that we have to cook 2 different meals. If they're like, I don't know about this, just meat and veggies.
You're not like, you're going to eat it, and if you're not going to eat it, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not going to finish it, breakfast.
Yeah. We go through that with George, too, but, George is pretty good on, he took a bite of my sushi roll one day, which I thought that was a big step. Normally you're in your 20s whenever you finally man up to eat sushi.
Yeah, because you can afford it, too.
Well, you can't afford it, 1, but 2, it's fish, which is foreign to us here in East Texas. We only know about fried catfish, really. You like fried fish? Hush puppies. I hate fried catfish. Like it does not taste good to me. But man, people listen to this. They're like, that's it. I'm not listening to Sam Dean's podcast anymore. That guy's a freak. He doesn't like catfish.
I like catfish.
I'll tell you a secret, too. I don't really like crawfish either.
Really?
It's so much work, man. So little meat.
If they can get... Well, did you try the sushi roll with the crawfish on it?
No, I probably like that.
Yeah.
Because you can just eat that, right? You don't have to break it apart and suck it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just don't like that whole process, man. Call me a baby or whatever, but I go through all that work for that little slither of meat. I'd rather have it already fried or something, or just where I could just take a fork and just pick it up and put it in my mouth and chew it up.
I hear you. I don't blame you for it.
Yeah.
I've got some random information, and we don't have to get into it now, but
Let's hear it.
well, a little history on France and crawfish. So I think there's like two different types of crawfish: red
You
tail and
said
blue tail.
history, a little history on France and the country and crawfish. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Isn't that?
Yeah, for everybody listening, they don't know you lived in France, but okay.
Yeah, born and raised there. But anyway, so France only has one of the two tails. I think it was like native to France. I think it's like red tail crawfish or blue tail crawfish. And then someone brought back some red tail crawfish from Louisiana or something like that, threw it in a river, freaking overtook all the creeks and rivers. You can go to any creek in France and you can find some crawfish. And they've nearly killed off all the like the blue tail crawfish. So I thought crawfish was like an American thing. Nope.
Everywhere.
Crawfish bowl in France.
Yeah, everywhere. I guess it is a Louisiana thing, since we're so close to those coonasses right here on the border. And they're, give a crawfish bowl, get some newspaper, put it on the table, dump it out on the table. When you got your corn on the cob, your potatoes, just a salty ass crawfish. Well, all right, let's get into let's dive into it.
All right.
I met you for the first time. Always bring up Atticus & Co. Boog and Flo's store in Athens downtown. One of my favorite shops. Went in there. You and Abby were in there shopping, and that's where I first met you.
Yep. Shook your hand. You're looking at some knives. Well, Boog was showing us some new knives that he'd gotten, and I knew that he and Flo did CrossFit. We'd gone to lunch with them. They were one of the first people we had met when we were thinking about moving to this part of Texas, and went to lunch with them. Boog kind of sold me on CrossFit at that lunch. About community. We're big on community and wanting to surround ourselves with some good people and all types of people, and so
I hope you find that.
I already have. CrossFit's great. CrossFit's great. If anything, just for that.
Yeah.
Met a lot of people. My wife Abby always tells me you've got more friends than me, and typically it's the other way around. It's because I did this.
True,
and I
man.
met a lot of people.
It's true. There's so many business owners that are part of our gym, and it's like a church. It's like a youth group or a study group, your class, and the whole thing's like the whole church, and it's, man, you get connected automatically because people generally do CrossFit are pretty nice people. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty social people. They're not those people that work out by themselves. They're going to socialize. They're going to introduce themselves to you, and they're going to encourage you and stuff like that. So I met you there. You talked with Boog. You came to CrossFit. You and I, you usually come to the 5:15 a.m. class in Athens, which is an early class. What time do you have to wake up for that?
When I have to come in early enough to stretch a lot, 4:30. If not, 4:40.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd say most of the time, 4:30.
So I wake up at 4.
Yeah.
Of course, I live a little further, but I have to get here and unlock and
Get things ready.
Get the warm up on the board, get everything set up. I have about 2 cups of coffee, I think, before the class. So anyway, you get here, you warm up, you do the class, you stretch a little bit, hopefully, and then we usually go to breakfast afterwards.
Yeah, breakfast. It's funny. It kind of feels like Cheers, like the bar. You work out, then maybe you hang out, drink some coffee, talk like old men. I feel like an old man sometimes.
Yeah.
And then we'll typically go get breakfast after the 6 a.m. class.
How old are you?
37.
Okay, me and you are same age.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you born?
In France.
Your parents were missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the story, man. Early Logan Misegades.
Early Logan Misegades. Well, I'm one of 5, so there were 3 others before me.
Mm-hmm.
My parents moved to France from the States in 78.
Okay.
1978. they moved with evangelical rock band. So I grew up like a Christian hippie, if you will.
What's the name of that band?
There were several. The American band, the original band, was called A&amp. So AD, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Does not stand for after death.
Yeah.
Just A&amp.
Okay.
New year of the Lord, right? Yeah. And then they split up.
And we talk rock. Are we talking about like Huey Lewis and the News rock? Or are we talking about Metallica or Megadeth? Or are we more metal or what?
So we're talking the band played some very specifically Christian songs, but they also played some like secular rock and roll songs just to like get the crowd going. They would present the gospel throughout the concert, altar call, things like that. But then they split up so that they could form French Christian rock bands, so that the songs could be in French, because at this point they're playing all songs in English.
Yeah.
They're playing to French people who maybe don't speak English. And so at that point it was, I pride my dad's band in saying it was not like your cheesy Christian rock music. It sounded very good. Like to this day, their first album is one of my favorite albums. And
Anodyne.
no, then it became Image. Image without an S. S is silent in French.
Okay.
And I say that because 5 years into their band, there's like one of the first French boy bands that came out, and their name was Images, S is silent, so both names pronounced the same. And people would go to my dad's concerts thinking they were going to go see the boy band and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so they went to court over the name.
Oh,
and
man.
my dad dropped the case. Like he could have won and, had the rights to it, but he was like, yeah, our whole thing is like to witness to the secular world. And so he just went up to them and said, hey, we'll release all the rights to y'all. And maybe one day we can be friends or something like that. And sure enough, they're still friends to this day. And ironically, the boy band invited my dad's band several times to open up for them when they were in the same city. And they didn't care that my dad was like, yeah, but we'll have to present the gospel. I hope you're okay with that. He's like, yeah, sure, go for it. So it was cool because my dad would have concerts of like, a couple thousand people at most. And then he'd go in front of a crowd of like 10,000 and
wow, what a cool story.
Yeah.
So the rock band was like rock and roll, like.
Yeah, I mean, was it?
What does it sound like? That's what I'm trying to get at.
It's a good question.
When we say rock, like Chuck Berry, are we talking Elvis?
No, later than that.
Like 80s, like Bryan Adams?
Yeah, 80s rock, Bryan Adams.
So there's electric guitars, and there's bass, and there's drums. And
there's drums, yeah.
Keyboard.
Maybe a synthesizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And maybe the occasional tambourine.
Yeah.
But I'll bring you a CD next time.
Is it on Apple Music or no?
No.
Okay.
We've tried to digitalize it, and I think someone in my family has a copy of it. But maybe
I would have to get permission to play it on the podcast. It would be
if
cool to have a little soundbite right now for the listeners. But
I know, I'm sorry. If I don't suck at the podcast and you invite me back, I'll make sure to bring a little bit of it.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to it.
Okay.
France, early France. You're a little kid.
Yeah. So born right outside of Paris, about 45 minutes east of Paris. My parents planted a church there. Did kindergarten, elementary school, 6th grade, and then my parents decided they kind of got too old for the touring stuff, the touring gigs and all that. And they felt also like they were called to move away and plant another church somewhere else in France. And so they fell in love with Central France. We moved there in the mid-90s, July of 1995. And about 5 hours south of Paris. So literally, if you were to put your finger on a map of France where you thought the middle was, would probably be within 30 minutes of your finger. And there I did junior high, high school. Played basketball, was a skater punk. Inline skating, not skateboard. I know.
Funny.
I mean,
Can you still do it?
I haven't put skates on in a while.
You know,
there's a little skate park in Malakoff, and I really, really want to try to get back into it.
So you're talking about rollerblades.
Rollerblades, grinding rails.
So you can go to a skate park with rollerblades and do tricks?
Yeah, you might get laughed at, or by the skateboarders.
I think so.
There's like a historical beef between skateboarders, BMXers, and then rollerblade. They don't think rollerblade is like an extreme sport or anything like that.
Well, at the Athens skating rink, you can get rollerblades, and they have a jump in the middle of the rink that if you're man enough, you can go off this jump and do some tricks or whatever. There's all these little kids like going off of it 100 miles an hour. And George, he's got some skates that he can change out roller skates or blades, and he's like, Dad, put those blades on, man. He was already like, he lasted just a little while on those roller skates until he's like, man, I want to be a little cooler. Let's put them blades on. I
loved it, man. I loved it. We built a skate park in our little town, my two best friends and I, and I'm not going to say we got really good at it, but good enough to compete and win some little small local contests and stuff like that.
Now, what's fun. The competition? Is it a race, or is it?
No, it's by run. So you go to a skate park and you map out your line and you just go for it. And so a run is like you have 60 seconds and you just need to skate the quarter pipes, the tables, the spines, all that, and grind and do all your tricks.
You have a helmet on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm prone to break my bones, so I wore all the pads.
Wrist guards.
Yeah. Ironically, the last bone I broke my forearm in half, grinding down a rail, and I had my wrist guard in my elbow pads, and I guess the bone in between broke.
Man.
Bones.
But yeah. Every summer you'd come back to the United States to visit your grandparents?
Yep. I had grandparents in Kansas, grandparents in Dallas. My parents would take the opportunity to kind of go around their supporters and give them an update on what was going on. And when we moved to Central France, my parents wanted to build a small B&B as like a hub and start a home church there and then just see it grow. And they really didn't want to do anything huge. They just wanted a place where they could welcome people and welcome, retreats for pastors and church staff and missionaries and all that. And it ended up growing into something much bigger. And now they're on about 10, 11 acres. And they have a complex, like a hotel restaurant, like can sleep up to 75. You could probably have 115 people eating. I mean, it's a big place, but they're able to host whole churches and things like that.
What's the name of that place?
The Colorado.
The Colorado. And what town is that in France?
It's in Égletons. Égletons. Off of the A89.
And that is, I want to say that's how you got the idea for Margot Hill. And now I don't want to jump ahead, but 2001, you left France and came back to the United States.
Left France.
You're a senior in high school.
Yeah, well, I had graduated, but somehow got talked into doing another year and get a second high school diploma, but an American one, and play basketball for Highland Park in Dallas. And I thought, hey, every high schooler dreams to go back to high school and not go to college. This makes sense. And but in all seriousness, I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to, because I played basketball in France my entire life, and obviously the dream is always to go play college ball and maybe become a pro. And I had those crazy dreams, and so I was like, well, I know how to play European basketball. let me go back to high school and learn the American way. So high school would be great, easy. I only had to take like creative writing and English.
Highland Park's a nice place. And
it's a nice place, yeah.
Nicest city and the richest city in
which
Dallas.
was a huge culture shock for me.
Yeah.
Here comes this missionary kid, grew up, playing with.
How'd you get to Highland Park? Why Highland Park and not?
So this family that supported my parents live in Highland Park, and they have kids the same spread as me and my two closest brothers. And so anytime we'd go to the U.S. in Dallas, we would hang out with them constantly. So we became good friends, and they became like surrogate parents. And so one summer I went to go hang out with them, played open gym. The basketball coach at Highland Park at the time was like, hey, come play next year. I'm like, all right. And so I lived with these people in their back house. And the plan was play basketball, take the 2 classes that I just needed to take 2 classes to earn the credits to get my high school diploma in the U.S. and be eligible to play. And so I did that, and literally like 3 games into preseason, UL kicked me off, saying it was recruiting. And
UIL getting the blue chips.
I guess. I mean, we bypassed everything. We thought we'd found a loophole. They'd become a legal guardians an entire 12-month cycle before I moved and enrolled into the school, and somehow still got kicked off. Yeah, I've got my theories on that, on who used their influence and things like that, but it is what it is. I mean,
the rival high school team.
I still had a great experience. In France, you don't have prom, you don't have football. Friday Night Lights is not a thing. School spirit is not a thing. School sports is not a thing. Everything's club sports. And so I think there's this thing about the American dream that foreigners have when it comes to school, and that is you want to experience those things. Because the only time we've ever seen it is in movies. And I think the majority of America, their prom and Friday Night Lights don't look like what it is in the movies, right?
So this is
Parker's pretty close to that.
Varsity Blues came out, right prior to this. You probably saw that movie.
I saw that in the U.S.
Okay.
But like,
what were you watching to see the type of thing that we're talking about? There is a movie called Friday Night Lights about
West Texas.
Midland, Odessa.
Yeah. But that would have been before that.
There's Footloose. There's
Footloose. There's Grease. I think probably a little older than that.
Dazed and Confused. Yeah.
But things like what is it? She's All That, or that thing. Not that.
All those chick flicks that you were going on dates and watching those movies.
Exactly.
Yeah. Josh Hartnett.
But seriously, I wanted to experience that, and so I did. I got to go to homecoming, to prom, to the football games. Loved it. And when I went to go visit A&M, I went to Midnight Yell, and that was game over. I was like,
what about Texas? And let me be a little weird. Were the women prettier in Texas than they were in your high school in France? Now, I don't know if that's politically correct or what, but I think Texas has the most beautiful women.
I'm married a Texan. Yeah.
So,
definitely do.
So yeah. Is that a yes?
Do. I mean, I think for my personal experience, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to answer. I'm afraid like I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but it seems when I travel some other place, the people are not as beautiful, and I'm obviously, whatever. I don't want to stop talking about that, but I think Texas women are the most beautiful women in the world. Better than California girls,
I would agree with that statement. No offense to the other women.
The Beach Boys would disagree probably.
Yeah.
But
I mean, our wives are from Texas.
Absolutely.
I would say my wife's the most beautiful woman in the world, and she's a Texan. So
there
I
you
would
go.
have to agree with that statement.
Well, there you go. Okay, so it wasn't okay. But you did notice, obviously. Okay. So how tall are you?
Just shy of 6'3".
Just shy 6'3". You play basketball. You're good. Were you forward?
No, I'm a 2-guard, 3-guard.
Okay.
So
I don't really
shooting
know what
guard.
that means, but all right.
Get kicked off. Don't
Can't play
can't,
basketball.
Can't play basketball.
Can't
Can't get a scholarship.
Can't get a college scholarship.
Not that I would have gotten one, but all hopes of even potentially getting one go out the window. And then it's college time. Got to figure out where I'm going to go to college.
Why Texas A&M University?
I don't know. A lot of my friends from Holland Park went there. And at that point, when you're in high school, some people, they want to get away from home. And I was already an Atlantic Ocean away from home.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really matter where I went to college. I could have gone to college in Dallas. And to me, it still would have felt like I was a long ways away. So I never felt like I needed to get out of state or anything like that. Like I said, I went to Midnight Yale, and I was just like, this is insane, but I love it. Like, this is everything that I'd never had in France. Like, and I thought high school, the Holland Park experience was a big thing, and this was
more community. I mean, A&M is a huge community.
Yeah, and traditions and just fun, and I loved it. So I was sold. I didn't look anywhere else really after that.
You got in, you went down there. Where'd you live down there?
I lived on Northgate, so if you're familiar, Northgate.
Dixie Chicken and all those places.
I lived off campus across the street from Dixie Chicken, so I'd open up my window and I could see the chicken and Fitzwillies at the time and all that. Lived there for a couple years, a place called Traditions. Building sat on Robert Earl King's old house.
Yeah. From the front porch song with Lyle Lovett.
Exactly. Then from there, moved to Luther Street in the historic district across from Southgate. Right by the tracks, Luther Street in Wellborn. And I went to College Station just a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
House is still standing. Still a POS. I was one of 10 guys in that house. It was so fun.
Animal House.
It was so fun, man. 10 of us. When I say a POS house, it was falling apart. Like, the floor was holding on because the carpet was so tight.
Yeah.
But really, like, everything was rotting. Still standing, though. And they're trying to sell it for, like, $350,000. And I think rent now is going for $1,800 a month. And we were paying all in, bills, utilities, everything, $145 a piece.
Yeah.
And for everything. And anyway.
Did you have a roommate that was real stinky?
No. We're still all real close. My roommate was okay. The stinky roommate was not in my room.
Yeah.
Which I was thankful for.
Good.
I had the roommate that loved to cook, that played music, that played basketball. I mean, we got along real well.
Cool. What'd you study there?
I studied French. I got into A&M through the European language department. That's not to get into too.
Is that
too
cheating
deep.
or no?
Some people would say yes. I'd say I just used the system.
Yeah.
I took advantage of the system. Like A&M is one of the schools that's real hard to get in. And I just flat out didn't have the grades. Like, I didn't have the test scores for it. SAT was like the first SAT was the first exam in English that I took. Like, full on hour plus.
You remember what you scored on it?
It wasn't a lot. I think 1,100 or something like that. Like,
that's pretty good.
Not good enough to get into A&M at that point.
Right.
And so.
Can I tell you mine real quick?
Yeah.
So the first time I took it, it was in the 900s.
Me too. 980 for some I took it.
And I took it 5 times. Every time it went up.
Yeah.
A little bit somewhere. And I got a Judy Groom, who was a teacher at Canton High School, a redheaded lady, really nice. She tutored me to get, because I wanted to go to West Point, And literally, I took that SAT, man, and it was like Forrest Gump style. They're like, look, you're not going to make it. You know, like, don't even send this shit to us. So they were on Saturday mornings. I had to drive all the way to Tyler, to TJC, to take this test Saturday morning after a Friday night football game, usually. And I'm not good at it. I'm not material. I don't do well at SAT type stuff. But, man, I studied my ass off. And I think I ended up getting some type of 12 something.
Awesome.
1250 or something. And I got accepted. But one of my roommates had a 1600 perfect score.
Of course.
You know, like, that's the kind of caliber
like automatic,
guys.
you go wherever you want.
Yeah, and I was real proud of that 12. And that was a combined score. That was like my best math from one test and my best English or whatever the hell, reading or whatever from another test. And, so, all right.
It was hard. I found out later, and someone told me this, I could have taken the SAT in French. Because, I mean, like, the literary part, you know, the English part, it's just stuff that, I mean, I'd never taken literature in English. Like, I took English as a foreign language in France because it was mandatory.
But your parents spoke English to you? Or
no, they did. I mean, that was an easy A for me in France. It was funny because you'd be taught English by a French teacher that had a somewhat of a British accent. And here, every time I spoke in English in the class, people, you know, my friends would tease me and act like they're chewing gum and be like, "Oh, what am I going for?" You know, like that's what they thought Americans were like.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, the French people think Texans, or when they heard that I was moving to Texas, they were like, "So are you gonna go to school on a horse? You know, carry a gun, have spurs, and a cowboy hat?" I'm like, "Well, maybe, I don't know."
Hope so.
Yeah.
So you graduated in 2006?
Class of 06, but I took my time. I graduated in 07.
07? Yeah. Heck yeah. Got your ring. You still wear your Aggie ring all the time?
I do.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. I need to wear my ring more.
I got it later in life. I graduated poor, so my wife for my 30th crowdfunded with my friends the ring, and
no way.
Yeah, so like 20 of my friends just pitched in and were like, "Let's get Logan his ring." So so at 30, got my ring. I had a kid already, and I had to dunk it. I got to dunk it, and it was fun.
And beer? And drink the whole thing, huh?
Drank the whole thing, threw it up immediately. Because I had just eaten a full meal and I was a couple beers in already, and I didn't know I was getting a ring.
It's a pitcher of beer with a ring in it.
Pitcher of beer.
That's a ring dunk, tradition at Texas A&M. When you get your Aggie ring.
Yeah, and typically, like, you get your pitcher of beer and you spend a while just like pouring it into another pitcher and back and forth to kind of flatten it out and get it kind of room temp so that you can chug it more easily.
Yeah, if you're weak, you do that.
If you're weak. But I decided, let's eat 5 tacos and rice and beans and drink a couple beers and then chug a pitcher.
That's the right way to do it.
So, but it was fun.
What a great gift from your wife.
She's so thoughtful.
So when did you meet Abby?
I met Abby after college. After college, I moved back to France. Had a bad breakup, and moved back to France to kind of go back to the roots and play basketball.
Semi-pro.
Yeah, no big deal. NBD. Played semi-pro. Well, my club had a semi-pro team. I knew the coach. I walked on. Got offered a two-year contract, and I didn't sign it because I was going to this wedding in LA for one of my best friends, and I was in that wedding and showed up at the wedding, and Abby, who was in the wedding for her, she was a bridesmaid, walked in, and it was just kind of like in the movies, like lights dim, spotlight on her. Felt like first time that I felt like God was like, "That's your wife, go after her." And all the girls I've dated before that, it was just like dating a girl, but this was like, "This is your wife, go after her." So I just pursued her. And then I moved back 2 months later.
Were you like a shark going through the crowd trying to get close to her to try to, like, how did you saw her, but how did you approach her? Take me back to it. play-by-play.
Yeah, so
What kind of stuff did you do to get close to her that evening specifically?
honestly, I don't know. I guess I just hung around her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the crazy thing is, man, like all our friends there were friends in common in college,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow her and I's paths, like we never hung out. We knew each other's names, but that was about it. Like I can't tell you a moment in college where we hung out together. And so it was like the first time I saw her then. But I mean, we went out dancing that night, so I asked her to dance with me. We danced all night. We hung out.
What? Okay, hold on. You asked her to dance?
Yeah.
What song? Do we know what song came on? I mean, what's your favorite song to dance to? If there's a song come on, what song comes on that you go to Abby? Say you're at my wedding.
Yeah.
DJ's plays something. You like it. You're like, Abby, let's dance. What songs are we talking about here?
Probably either I learned how to two-step at A&M. So
Okay.
either country song so I can two-step or a slow dance song.
What are we talking? Brooks and Dunn or something? Or
Dude, I don't know.
yeah,
I-
something slow.
Yeah. Something where it's a two-person dance. Not the kind of dance where you can all dance together. Like I need
Cotton
some
Eye Joe.
time alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because something you'll know about Abby, she can dance. She can cut a rug, and I can't necessarily.
Yeah.
And so group dance,
But
which is
but you're man enough to do it with her.
yeah, I was with her for sure. I think I'm probably on the shyer side typically,
Yeah.
but with her just had a certainty and boldness, and so I just went after her. And I had a layover in Dallas when we left the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and she lived in Dallas at the time, and so I just the way I tell this story is I was flying standby. I didn't make the first flight, and so I had to call my best friend and ask him if I could spend the night there. And so I called Abby and I told her, "Hey, I'd like to take you out on a real date. I know we just spent like 3 days hanging out, but I want to take you out on a real date." So we went out on a real date, and I thought it went well. She'll tell you a different story, but I thought it went pretty well. But it's just one of those things where you're in the giddy phase and you just want to spend as much time with the other person as you can. And so my buddy takes me, this is so cheesy, he takes me to the airport, and I'm like, "Hey, you know what? Hold on a minute." So I go to the ticket counter and I ask the lady, I'm like, I check in, and then I was like, "Hey, hold on. Can I push my standby flight to like tomorrow, the day after?" She's like, "Yeah, we just need to put in a reason." I'm like, "Put in, gotta go see about a girl."
Man, that's like a movie.
And she's
That's
like,
Josh Hartnett
she's
right
like,
there.
"Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yep. Just met my wife in LA. She lives in Dallas. Just before I go back to France, I want to try to spend a couple more days with her."
I think Josh Hartnett said that line exactly in one of those movies.
Dude, that was Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting.
Matt Damon. Okay.
He tells Robin Williams, "Gotta go see about a girl." Robin Williams tells that to
Robert
Matt Damon
Williams
first.
is like,
He's talking about his wife.
that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Why? Hey, let me ask you this. You own a wedding venue, Margot Hill.
Yeah.
Why is it that a wedding is one of the best places to meet a girlfriend or a potential husband or wife? Like, it's what is it? Is it just the happiness of the event, or?
I don't know. I feel like it's almost a little cliche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where'd you meet? A lot of the answers are either met at a wedding or we met at a bar,
Mm-hmm.
or now it's like we met online, right? But I don't know. I think maybe it's the fact that if you go to a wedding and you're single, you know who is single there and who is not. Because if you're married, obviously you got a ring.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a ring, you're just dating, you typically bring your boyfriend or your fiance,
Yeah.
or whatever. So you know who's going to be. And plus, like, the whole, like, garter toss and all that, I guess you know what fields to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, you're celebrating love and marriage, and everyone's feeling it. I think, yeah, like you said, it's just a happy setting.
So if you're single, it's best to go to a wedding because you might it's a good place to meet the woman or man of your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I didn't go to that wedding thinking I'm going to meet.
Right. But you did.
I did, yeah.
And it's better to meet a girl or a man at a wedding. Like if you just go to a bar, at least she knew somebody there that could vouch for her being a good person.
Yeah.
You can't say the same for like, I guess if you meet somebody in church, it might have a certain weight to it. But a person just randomly at a bar, there's a lot of unknowns. There's more knowns if you meet somebody at a wedding because they have some type of relationship with somebody else in their friends or family or something. Anyway, I think it's just a great event. A wedding is a positive. It's not a funeral. It's a positive event. It's a happy event. People are drinking, celebrating, feasting, dancing,
and this
praying. Man. There's nothing sad about a wedding.
It's like the whole 9 yards for that. And for this wedding, it was like a 3-4 day ordeal. So we were all in the same just massive hotel hanging out.
I've been to Catholic weddings that seem like they're 3 to 4 days long, but they're like the ceremony. Anyway.
French weddings start at like noon.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, the weddings where I'm from, everything's small. So it's like you walk to the city hall, get married there, and then you walk home with everyone. And we're talking like you get married at noon, and then you start the celebration whenever you get home. So 2 p.m., 1 p.m., and you just celebrate until the next day. I'm talking until the next day. There's no 11 p.m. cutoff. Everyone goes home, whatever. Yeah, it is an all-night ordeal, sometimes a couple days. And you sleep wherever you can. Mm-hmm. Everyone pitches in, the next day is massive breakfast for like 100 people. But you just, it's fun. It's different, but it's fun.
That's awesome. So let's talk about Margot Hill.
Yeah, let's do.
Margot Hill, let me just tell you what I know about it.
Okay.
Before you get into the details. Margot Hill is a wedding venue. It's an event place also. Mm-hmm. I've been out there for Supper Club.
Yep.
Which you and your wife put on. You get a guest chef come in. We buy the tickets. You come in, you hand me a glass of champagne or whatever, the wine or whatever. And everything, the meal is explained. The chef comes out and talks. It's nice. It's a nice little date. I know some people there, so they put me at a table with some friends, and I meet new people in Athens or the surrounding areas. It's a multi-course meal. The wine is paired with the certain foods. Yep. And, all the way up until dessert. And then we go home, and it was awesome. I also have seen the buildings out there. They're really nice. The landscape is beautiful. The home's beautiful. There's a lake. But it's on Highway 31. So the same road that goes from Kilgore to Corsicana. But if you're in Athens, if you get on the loop and go towards Corsicana on 31, it's almost is it in Malakoff?
We're after the Malakoff sign, where we're technically in the county.
Okay, so
it's right before. It's just on the east side of Malakoff.
And you're in Henderson County.
Henderson County.
Just east of Malakoff on the left. Used to be called this place called Venue 31.
Yep.
How did you guys go about, why did you decide on buying this wedding venue and making it Margot Hill?
Yeah, not to over spiritualize it or anything like that, but it was a total God thing. And I know that's kind of like a very like throwing around answer, but it really was. So I had convinced my wife for us to leave our jobs and go back to France and work at the family business for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And there we really found out that we worked well together, loved the hospitality industry, loved hosting, and she's in marketing. Her whole background is marketing, so that's just like a new project every time there's an event or every time she needs to advertise, and it's right up her wheelhouse. And she's very creative too. And so we decided, well, my parents are doing this piece of America in France shtick, we would love to do the same thing on property, and not necessarily even at the time a wedding venue, just like a village, build a piece of France in America. And so we came back and we were like thinking we'd do this as empty nesters in our 50s, 60s, whatever. Well, we come back, we start praying about it. We've got like our dream board and inspiration board and all that. All the pictures of the buildings that we love, know about, like, you know, Abby's like, I'd like 10 acres. I'm like, I'd like 100. But life happens. We moved back from France with our first child, Stella. Had to find like a real job. And so over the years, that just kind of went away. But we still thought, you know, in our 50s, we'll probably do this. But still, like, we kept praying about it. And then we went back to France. This was the longest stretch that I had set foot in France. Normally, I think 15 months was maybe the longest time that since I'd moved to the U.S., that I would have gone without going back to France. And this was 7.5 years later. Like, we had done our 2 years in France, came back. 7.5 years later went by. Finally go back to France Thanksgiving of 2019. And that just kind of reignited the dream. So we came back and we're like, okay, how do we make this happen? We're just like, we don't know. We're renting a house in Richardson in Dallas. You know, we don't own the house. We're trying to figure out if we want to set roots here or not, over there or not. And we're at Benihana's getting some hibachi for my birthday, December 19th. And my stepfather-in-law is like, hey, guys, because you know how we looked to retire and move to Cedar Creek Lake 3 years ago? Well, I still get the realtor's newsletter, Courtney Dickens, and here's a property she posted. And I think that's her dream project. Like, we hadn't even told them that, hey, dream project, that's what we called it. Dream project's back on the table. And he just said, yeah, I think I found your dream project location, and showed us the property. And it was Venue 31, Margot Hill. And Abby just felt this nudge, this move in her spirit saying, like, this is the property. This is where y'all are going to do your dream project and pour into the community. And so she's more the risk taker and I'm not, but I don't know. I'm just like, all right, if we get open doors, we're just going to walk through them until we're just going to keep walking until we're told stop. And man, like, we didn't have the down payment. We didn't have the funds for it. But and there were several offers put on the property, and we were very upfront with the realtor, and she was, you know, she relayed the information to the sellers, and finally Abby was just like, hey, can we meet the sellers and just have like our offer presentation to them? And they were like, yeah. And so we met them, and we made up this business plan, showed them our vision, and essentially told them, hey, we're taking a leap of faith in this. Why don't you do the same with us? And so we did. And man, like, the Lord worked on them too, and they offered us some crazy terms that if we would have asked them, they probably would have looked at us and said, these terms are not advantageous for us at all. This is crazy. This is not a good business deal that makes sense. But they came to us with the terms. Like, we were like, all right, God, the only way that this can happen is if we have X, Y, and Z, which any person with common sense would never agree to these terms. But we never presented those terms to them. And they turned around and said, okay, we want to sell to you guys, and we want to give you guys these terms. And it was exactly what we had thought. And so that there was no, at that point, it was just clear. I mean, if I still had any doubt, that just took all the doubt away.
Yeah.
And so we closed April 5th, and the crazy thing is, like, shelter in place happened during that time, during the option period, and And a couple people were like, "Are you sure you still want to do this? Like, we don't know where the world is headed with this. If people are going to be able to get married anymore or whatever." And we're like, "Yeah, we got to do it. There's these open doors happen for a reason, not to just shut down. Like, God is bigger than COVID, and this project is going to be bigger than COVID for our little world." And so we kept going with it, and man, we've owned it for 8 months now, and we went from a very skimpy 4 weddings in the first 4 or 5 months. We VRBO'd the house to help cover all the bills and all that, and had to live at my mother-in-law's over on the lake, and which, you know, is not a terrible problem to have. But now I think we've hosted and booked, I think we're up to 38 weddings now.
Jeez.
And just weddings. So that's not including supper club. You know, we did the Christmas market thing. Other events. You know, if someone wants to have a quinceañera there, plug.
Yeah, or a hootenanny.
Or a hootenanny. Or a
hoedown.
Or CrossFit New Year's party.
CrossFit New Year's party, yes. So I'm obviously a realtor now, so if you need if you need a future, yes, you mentioned the word realtor, and I hadn't told my audience yet. But yeah, I got my real estate license.
Yeah, you did.
And my broker's cool. I'm kind of my own boss in a way. I'll hook you up. Let me just say that. But let me list your house. Let me find you a place to buy. Whatever. Enough about that. Why change the name to Margot Hill?
So we have 3 kids, Stella, Chloe, and Moose. Moose's middle name, we're not weird or anything. It's my mom's maiden name, so I was like, if we have a boy, Moose has to be in there. We did surprise gender with Moose, so we found out the day he was born. Had he been a girl, his name would have been Margot. I really want a 4th kid. Or I should say, I wanted a 4th kid. Still do. Abby's like, shop's closed.
Yeah.
I'm done.
But you got that cat now.
Yeah, Cookie. Yeah, she doesn't count. And she's like, you've got a 4th kid. Her name's Margot. So Margot was going to be the fourth child. And Hill, because the house is on a hill. And also, like, people name their properties, you know, something estate, something ranch, something farm. Yeah. So we felt like there needed to be something.
Yeah.
And so Margot Hill. But it's funny because people think that's Abby's name. People think our last name is Hill.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Are you Margot Hill?
Yeah. Are you Margot or Margot? Are you Margot Hill?
Margot Hill.
That's how it's spelled. Margot. But it's pronounced Margot.
If I'm wanting to possibly have my wedding there, what do I need to do?
Call us. We're on Wedding Wire, The Knot, Facebook, Instagram. Find our email address or call us or our link, and set up a tour. We'll give you a tour.
Okay.
Then we can talk details.
So I call you. I say, hey, I'm thinking about having my wedding there or my party there. We're going to set up a time to meet.
Yep.
You're going to take me. I'm going to drive out there.
We'll drive out there. You'll get through the gate. We'll let you know how to get through the gate. Then we'll meet you down at the venue site. And we'll get basic intake information, name, info, which we'll have a lot of that. Wedding date or your event date. How many guests are you expecting? So just to see if it's a good fit right away, you know, because I mean, if we know your date is taken,
right,
and you're not flexible on your date, you might, but we'll still want to go through the tour because that might sway your decision. Like, maybe I can change.
So what all
date.
do you have out there?
We've got about 5,000 square feet at the venue. It's 40 acres, first of all. The venue space, the actual space for the event is about 2,600 square feet. And we've got double that space outside under an awning. And that's just the venue space. We've got outdoor ceremony site. We currently have the residence, the house that was converted on either side, the master wing side into the bridal suite. Where it sounds weird, but the walk-in closet is huge, and everything got torn out of there and turned into like double vanity, mirror, chandelier, 2 AC vents in there, and you would never know that it's an old walk-in closet because there's a massive window with view onto the ceremony site. So the bride and her party can get ready in there, makeup, hair done in there, and be able to see like who's coming in without them being able to see inside.
Cool.
And then on the opposite side of the house, private entry into, separate entry into the groom's quarters, which is a mother-in-law suite essentially. And it's got its own living room, full bathroom, bedroom. And so the groom and his party can get married there without, I mean, you can't hear people talking from or shouting, on either end of the house, and they don't ever have to cross paths either, which is great. We have a shop there as well with all my equipment. That's my office. Abby has her office at the house. My office is in the shop with the machinery.
The tools and the machinery.
The tools and machinery. Yeah, all the wood, all that. Projects. It's fun.
You have a new container with
with a mural. Mural and, some words on it so you can take pictures, We needed storage, man. So we got a container. We're like, yeah, let's paint a mural. Let's make it a photo op for people. So now you can come to Margot Hill and have a photo op.
Yeah, it's pretty popular so far.
So it's brand new. So we haven't had really an event with it yet, but we've done some style shoots and things like that. And man, like that's the thing. Go on our Facebook page and so style shoots are these fake weddings for photo ops, right? So all these vendors come together free, and the photographer will take all these pictures of like this staged event, and then all the vendors can use those pictures for their marketing, right? And so it's mutually beneficial for everyone. And man, like we might have had about 5 or 6 so far, and they've all been different, which is cool, and which shows like the versatility of the property. Whether you want to have ceremony site wedding, indoor wedding inside the venue, or under the awning even, and then someone set up like a ceremony site out in, by the pond in the grass, by some trees, and it's just beautiful. So the options are limitless.
I saw a couple of deer when I was out there. I went out there for your birthday another time, and it is a beautiful piece of property. Good place to have a wedding. When's the next supper club?
Next supper club is Saturday 23rd. Is
it sold out?
Not yet. We had to postpone the December one to this January. And we've got about 15 or so tickets left. So it's in a week and a half, 11 days from now.
Is that a Thursday night? Or is it
Saturday.
Saturday night. Okay.
Saturday night. Yeah, man, it's fun. I mean, it's like you said, it's a good date night. It's a good time to, maybe have a dinner with a group of friends or by yourself. Have some great food, some good local wines. This is going to be served by 3Ps Winery here in Athens. Great people. And last supper club was Castle Oaks, another local winery. And thing is, we've had a couple chefs ask us, okay, what would people like around here? And we tell them, no, cook, like prepare what you want to prepare. Like, I don't want to necessarily serve food that would be in the comfort zone of, like our comfort zone, if you will. I want people to be able to experience. I want this to be a culinary experience for them, right? And for us. And honestly, it's not a moneymaker event for us. We do it once a month. It's a lot of work on the front end. Every supper club is a lot of work. But we do it because we love food, and we want to have like a nice dinner really close by. Our kids can stay up at the house. We're real close, and then everyone else that comes gets to experience. But we limit it to 50. We've sold out, and if we have a really heavy demand, we'll double check with the chef, see if they're comfortable going beyond 50. But in this day and age with COVID and everything going on, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And so I think the biggest group we had was 68. And we space out the table. It's plenty of space, but we space out the tables. We keep people in the group that they signed up with, and if they don't, then we just keep them, 6 feet away from other people, and it works. We got the space, and it's fun. It's just a good time.
You ready for 10 questions?
10 questions?
Yeah.
Rapid fire?
Rapid.
Okay.
What's the funnest wedding you ever been to?
LA wedding.
Where you met Abby?
Where I met Abby.
That's easy answer. Why? Take Abby out of it. What's the funnest wedding you've ever been to?
Dude, that wedding.
Okay. Why?
It was 3 days long. It was in LA. I was post-college. I was making my own money. So, it was just fun. We all met. Like, college friends all met in a different city. LA, man. Like, SoCal. It's fun.
Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
Man, I have to go the Beatles. I know them better than the Rolling Stones. I like the Rolling Stones, too.
What's your favorite Beatles song?
I like Michelle.
Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
How's that go?
Michelle, ma belle, sont des mots. Yeah, that one.
Okay. France or the United States?
$1 million question. I'd say France because I'm here.
Get out of here.
But
Get off my property.
If I'm in France, I'd say the U.S. It's just my heart misses where it's not.
Yeah.
Like
Napoleon or George Washington?
George Washington. Come on.
Rocky Balboa or Rambo or John J. Rambo?
Rocky. I'm more familiar with Rocky.
You didn't have a lot of Rambo over there?
No, I saw all of them, but
Yeah.
I think I saw all the Rockies multiple times. And I think also my parents let me watch Rocky earlier than Rambo. Rambo was, for a kid, it was pretty gruesome and bloody and all that.
I know. That's why I love it. Okay, moving on. Let's get back on task.
I can see the disappointment in your eyes, as we keep going.
Tom or Jerry? This is a cartoon from Looney Tunes.
Jerry.
I don't know if it's Looney Tunes. Jerry, yeah, I agree. Bugs Bunny or Donald Duck?
Dude, Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, what's up, Doc? You going out to eat tonight? You going sushi? You like a nice sushi restaurant or a steakhouse?
Unlimited
budget.
That's tough. I love a good steak, but I can cook myself a good steak. I can't make myself sushi. I go sushi.
That's good. What's your favorite sushi restaurant in Athens?
The one and only Yamato.
Yamato, man. Look, I'm gonna give a free plug for Yamato. Like, these guys aren't paying me anything. I call it Yamato.
Yamato is probably correct.
But it's over there, man, on 31, maybe the bad part of town, and it is damn good. And it's cheaper than what you'll normally pay for good sushi, and it's great. It's phenomenal.
We've been able to eat there with the food challenge.
We have, yeah. It's been a big help.
You get a great waffle at Pig Grill, and then just go up the road, up the hill, and get a California roll or a Tiger roll at Yamato.
We also need to plug Pit Grill, which we've come to love again. I used to like it, and then it got kind of dirty, but we've been going there for breakfast. They've been knocking it out of the park with their breakfast. It's very good. Okay, back on task. Dallas Cowboys or Dallas Mavericks?
Mavericks. I'm a basketball fan.
What's your favorite basketball team on the Mavericks? Like what era?
I love the Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki era. Nowitzki era. I wasn't too familiar with before, kids first go around.
Derek Harper.
Yeah. Was it Blackman?
Rolando Blackman, yeah.
But obviously 2011 was just phenomenal.
I remember going in Reunion Arena, like their old, before the American Airlines Center, and the steps were like super small. but they were so steep. I remember like thinking I was going to fall down those steps. And I went there for a couple of concerts when I was little, but
yeah.
Okay. So you're a basketball guy.
I am.
Is he your favorite basketball player?
He's one of them.
Who's your favorite?
I mean, like, there's the classic Jordan. You know, everyone loves Jordan. Almost everyone. But I loved growing up Reggie Miller. I loved his shot.
Reggie Miller?
Yeah.
Really?
I loved his shot.
I hated Reggie Miller because him and Jordan didn't get along. You know?
But they respected one another, I think.
What's your favorite CrossFit workout or style of CrossFit workout?
Not what we did this morning.
Dumbbell thrusters, 400-meter row, and pull-ups.
Yeah. My hands are hurt, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I used to hate pull-ups, but then I got the kip down, and pull-ups in my arms and my body is able. I mean, I'm 240, at least at the weigh-in. 240, what was it, 242, 240?
Can't remember.
So I'm not light. I'm not a light guy. So pull-up, anything body weight is already like a weight workout for me.
Yeah. It's a heavy workout. Yeah.
But now I can do pull-ups.
Yep.
I like the ones where it mixes barbell workouts with body weight workout. If we can sprinkle in the 200 or 400 meter run in there, I like it because that gives me a break. I'm not a runner like you or Boog or Hoffman, but I don't mind running.
I'm not a runner either compared to those guys.
You ran a lot farther than I ever ran my entire life, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. What is your favorite Van Zandt Coffee roast?
I'm really liking that Rica Suave.
Rica Suave from Costa Rica that's a good coffee.
It is. And I made it strong this morning. And Abby doesn't like strong coffees, but she liked it.
How do you prepare your coffee?
Ratios?
Yeah.
Well, I drink mine black, but when I prepare it...
You do it right, yeah.
Yeah. When I prepare it, I go 1.5 heaping scoops per cup. No, one heaping scoop per cup and a half of water.
Do you have a regular coffee pot?
Yeah.
So you like fill that filter more than halfway up with grinds?
I don't eyeball it. I literally go 12 cups. I'm going to go 8, right? No. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. 8 heaping scoops of coffee in there. Whatever spoon is in my jar.
Interesting. Okay. Well, you passed. Barely.
Barely
passed the test, the 10-question test. What else do you want to talk about?
I mean, we can talk about anything.
Well, let's do it, man. No, man, appreciate you being on today. You passed the test. You're going to be back on.
Okay.
And we're going to listen to the Christian rock band.
Yeah, Image.
A sound clip. Once again, Logan Misegades.
Thanks for having me
Abby
on, man.
Misegades, the owners of Margot Hill in Athens, or Malakoff if you want to get super specific. But it's one of the few wedding venues in the area.
Yeah.
Very few venues around.
And I'll tell you what, all the other wedding venues in the area, they're all great. We all have gotten to know one another, but we all offer different things. We all have a different style. So which is nice because we haven't been like cutthroat with one another or anything like that. It's been very supportive, especially through this COVID period. But yeah.
Yeah, COVID's been rough on
everyone,
especially the wedding industry, I'm sure.
But check us out, Margot Hill Wedding and Events.
But let me tell you this.
Yeah. We're
going to be okay.
We are.
And what I mean by that is our country is going to be okay. Us as Texans our businesses are going to be okay. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be stronger for going through all this BS.
Yeah.
So don't worry. And I'm preaching to you, but I'm really talking to myself.
Yeah.
And everybody else out there. It's going to be fun. We're going to pull through this.
Yeah.
Let's get together. Let's communicate with each other. If you're on the left or the right, if you're black, you're white, Mexican, whatever, let's talk to each other and let's get through this and have a great country again. We're going to be fun. So, cheers, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thank you to Dash Health and Wellness, Alicia and Justin Munden. Thank you to Van Zandt Coffee. Thanks to Logan and Abby Misegades with Margot Hill. Thanks to Yamato Sushi for just being badass, and the Pit Grill. Love you guys. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. Bye-bye.